We are a yakuza, and we are pretty bad at it. And we have gotten ourselves in some deep stuff. The only thing that can help us get out of this situation is this sexy demon that we summoned from a lamp. But there's a catch. If he doesn't believe that the person that set us up is worthy of death, he's going to take our lives instead. So will we be able to convince him that our life is worth living? Or will he take our life? Or will he steal something else? Just stay right there and find out. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monster Lover 2, or I believe it's called Monster Lover Ambrosilas, or Ambrosilas. I don't know how to pronounce his name. This is the second game in the Monster Hunter series. I admittedly have not played the first one. I have also not played Monster Ops yet. I need to record some footage for that as well. So yeah, let's just get into it. My first name is Pajama Ken. I'm surprised they let me type all that in. Come on. It's got to be somewhere around here. Oh man, I'm screwed. There's absolutely no way this is going to work. I'm gonna die here. They'll find me and kill me before I even have a chance to figure this out. There are way too many rooms here for me to find the boxes I need. But I have no choice but to try. If I don't, I might as well lie down on the floor and wait for them to come and kill me. How did I even get to this point? A few hours earlier. What a fun atmosphere in this bar. Everyone's having such a good time hanging out and playing darts. I didn't really get to appreciate it last time, but I think a place like this will be a really cool hangout. But I guess I don't have time to admire it right now. I've got to find the client. Maybe after he pays up. I can ask about how he built this place up like this. Except I don't see him. I take a look around, searching for any sign of the man I've been dealing with. Where is he? I don't see Kato anywhere. Granted, I've only met him in person once, but I like to think I'd remember his face. Maybe he's in the back. I'll have to ask somebody. I approach the bar and see a man there, looking irate as he wipes down the counter. Another employee passes by and gives him a wide berth. Maybe they don't like him. But I guess people avoiding him suits me because it means that they won't be eavesdropping. I flag him down. Hey, sorry to bother you. Is the owner around here? His expression smooths out a little when he looks up. I guess it's a customer service thing. That would be me, yes. Can I help you with something? You're the owner. And just like that, his expression sours again. Yes, I am. Why is that surprising? Do I look like someone who shouldn't own a bar? No, it's not like that. I was expecting someone else. I take another look around, searching for the man I spoke to the week before when I visited the first time. I would think I'm in the wrong place, but I swear it's exactly the same as the one I was in the other day. Is there a Kato here? Kato? You're one of his friends? That rat bastard quit on me out of the blue a couple of days ago. If you know where he is, tell him to go to hell for me. He quit? Yeah. He was a god-awful manager to begin with, but he was the only one I had. Now I have to come in myself every single night until I can train up a new one. A manager? He was a manager? Yes. What did you think he was? Things seem to click for the man right after he asks. Oh, that degenerate. Did he tell you this was his bar? Like hell it is. I bought this place with my own money years ago. He's been a manager for only the past 2. Sure, I let him run things most days, but he was terrible at it. Kept disappearing for days at a time, inviting all sorts of shady characters here. Oh, I see. What do I do if this guy really is the owner? If Kato was only a manager? As I'm starting to panic, something must show on my face because the bar owner's eyes start to narrow. Speaking of shady characters, what did you need with Kato anyway? His eyes trail down to my exposed chest, tracing the lines of my tattoos. Very bold, clear giveaways that I'm one of those particular unsavory characters he just mentioned. I can see him doing the math in his own head. You better not be here to cause trouble. Either buy a drink or get out. We don't want any nonsense around here, you get me? Law-abiding citizens only. Right, I'll just get going then, if you'll excuse me. What is going on? I all but sprint into the alley, quickly checking my pockets. I need to make a call, and fast. Shit, where's my phone? Hello? Takeda, hey, I just checked in on the client you recommended to me, Kato. I think he lied to us. He didn't own that bar at all. He just worked there. He was a manager. And now apparently he's quit and run off. He's not at the bar and I don't know where to find him. We're going to lose all that money. Oh. The laughter sounds mocking as it cuts through my earpiece, and my heart drops to my stomach. Why is he laughing? Did I miss something? What's so funny? You got screwed. That's what's funny. What do you mean, Takeda? Seriously, I need your help. We'll lose all the money if we can't figure out where he went with it. We aren't losing shit. You are. I'm already paid out. Good luck with that. You mean you're not going to... Do what? Bail you out? No way. I gave you a client, but this is your deal. Hope you've got, 2 million yen? You're so fucked. 2 million yen? Would that be like 200,000 USD or something? Oh my goodness. Or close around there somewhere. And remember, if you try to pin this on me, it's still your ass on the line. You were the one dumb enough to take a client without looking into the deal at all. My debts are already paid. I'm so but they just said he gave this man the client. What is this? This is awful. You're on your own with this one, moron. Hope you're not too attached to your fingers. Maybe pick out which ones you want them to cut off first. Fuck, I can't believe this. Screw cutting off my fingers. They'll kill me outright for this. 2 million? They didn't even like me to begin with. Ugh. I really thought Takeda would help. He said this guy was good for the money, so I assumed he was friendly with him. I thought he'd at least tell me where the man was, or be angry too. I didn't expect him to just laugh and hang up. It makes my stomach turn. When he gave me this job, I almost felt like we were becoming friends. I guess not. Why did he steer me so wrong? And worst of all, he's right. This is my mistake. I can't even bring him into it. It had nothing to do with him as soon as he told me about the client. I was the idiot who chose to take the deal with someone I don't know, but he... Never mind. Now I need to figure out what to do about it. There's no way I'd be able to find the guy on my own. And even if I did, the collateral he gave me was the bar, which he doesn't even own. Can I take it anyway? Is that possible? I don't even know. I'm not sure what to do next. This was supposed to be an easy gig. I guess there's no choice but to call Uncle. Pajamakin, what is it? I don't have time for nonsense right now. I'm busy. It's important. Yeah, just how important is it? Your usual screw-up level important? Or something actually life-threatening? It's actually life-threatening, I swear. Like, I could be hunted down any second kind of life-threatening. Please, Uncle, just hear me out for a minute. I'm really screwed right now and I don't know what to do. All right, you have 5 minutes, kid. Shoot. Thank you. All right, so you remember the loan I gave out, that 2 million yen to the bar? Yeah. Yes, that's it. Well, I went to collect the payment today and you see, let me guess, he skipped his deadline. It happens, kid. Just knock him around a little. He'll find something. He didn't just skip the payment, Uncle. He skipped town. Completely bailed out. He didn't pay back a single penny, and I have no idea where he went. Damn it. I told you that was too much damn money to give a guy all at once. People don't borrow a chunk of change like that and then just sit around on it. Still, it happens. Don't we have the bar as collateral? He gave you the documents before you gave him the money, right? Was he supposed to? Yes, he was supposed to. You mean to tell me you were just going on this guy's word? You loan someone money on collateral. You get the deed in hand first. It's a huge pain in the ass to collect otherwise. I thought we just took things by force. Sure, if the prior owners don't want to vacate, but beating the owners out of the building and taking up shop makes us squatters, not owners, kid. There's much less headache if you have the paperwork in hand to begin with. Otherwise, we have to hunt them down and make them sign it over. Which I guess we're doing here. You better hope he didn't sell that bar before he skipped out. About that. He didn't actually own it. He lied to me. He was just the manager. What? You idiot. Not only did you not secure the collateral on your own loan, you didn't even check out the client at all. I didn't think I had to. Takeda told me about the client and said he had already loaned money to him before. He swore the guy was good for it. But if I tell them that, I'll be in even more trouble. Takeda said we weren't supposed to change clients around like that, and Uncle would be annoyed if I broke rules to take a job on. Besides, like Takeda said, not checking is my screw up either way. I guess when I asked, he just said he was the man in charge, not really the owner. Not to mention, I didn't realize I had to get papers to give out the loan. I never thought of that. I just figured we would take it by force if we needed to. Shit, I really screwed this one. Never mind. I don't even know why I asked. This is so typical, Pajamakin. I guess you want me to clean this up for you, huh? Well, he seems really annoyed, so I'm probably going to get yelled at for asking, but I can't really do it on my own. Could you please? Well, that sucks, kid, because I can't save you on this one. I don't have that much cash lying around to just throw at you to burn. And even if I did, that would just put my ass in line for covering you. Oh no, he really can't help. But if he can't do anything for me, if he can't help me out of this, so I'm just doomed. There's no way to fix it? Panic rises in my chest, seizing my throat. It can't be. This can't be the thing that ruins me. I don't want to die over this. I don't want to die at all. I really don't know. I really didn't know, Uncle. Please, there's got to be some way to get out of this. It can't all be over. Just shut up and let me think for a second. I hold my breath and wait. I don't dare make a single noise, terrified I'll annoy him and he'll just hang up, leaving me to my fate. Uncle has never done that before, but if anything could make him draw the line, this feels like it would do it. After a long silence, Uncle sighs and starts talking again. Okay, you might be able to get out of this if you hunt down the guy that ran off. You can get back whatever he hasn't blown and make an example of him for skipping out. The boss might just accept that as an apology. Well, it's better than just being doomed, but not by much. For anyone else, that'd be an achievable task. Track the guy down and either beat him or kill him. Unfortunately, I've never been great at violence. I'm actually pretty squeamish, not to mention I don't have anywhere near the resources or knowledge to track the guy down in the first place. But I have to figure it out, one way or another. It's the only chance I have. I just don't know where to start. Right, how did you find him again? How do you find him again? Forget it. If I send you after that guy, there's a next to nothing chance you won't just fuck it up some other way. I may have already thought that myself, but it still hurts to hear. Uncle is usually pretty forgiving. I guess I really crossed a line this time. This really might be the end. Listen, Pajamakin, do you remember the warehouse the family owns? Yes, the one with all the artifacts and stuff. Right. That's the one. Do you remember the stories we used to tell you of the artifacts in there? The things some of them could do? Oh, yeah, I do. All the magic and demons and stuff. I love those stories. You guys were always having to tell me not to sneak in and dig around in the boxes. But I don't really see what that has to do with this. They weren't just stories, kid. Go to the warehouse and look for the lamp, the one we told you about way back then. The demonic one? You're telling me you want me to try and summon a demon? Yes. Specifically, the demon named Ambrosilas. Anyone who summons a demon takes control of it. You can order him to kill, wake it up, and have it hunt the guy down for you. Then you could take anything he had, any leftover money from what you loaned him, and any possessions, and bring them to me, and we'll see if they're enough to save your ass. And then maybe, just maybe, you get out of this alive. I don't know about all that. What if he spent the money already? Or if the boss is still mad after doing all that? Well, either give it a shot or let them figure out you're screwed up and kill you. I warned you, Pajama Cam, before I ever took you in, that this wasn't a life for you. If you prove me right, I'll, Just summon the demon, and don't piss it off. I mean it, Pajamakin. I really can't save you from everything. At some point, you're gonna have to start thinking before you make these mistakes. Uncle sounded really anxious. I guess I'm in really deep trouble. He must be worried about me. Not that I could blame him. I'm worried too. If anyone figures out I messed up before I can fix it, I really am screwed. Still, I never would have expected my uncle, as serious of a guy he is, to tell me to do something as wild and crazy as summoning a demon. There's really no helping it though. My uncle has never steered me wrong before, and I have no other options. All right then, the warehouse should be this way. Now. I'm finally here. I can look for that lamp now. Oh, wait a second. This is... Panic rises in me as I realize how big a task lies in front of me. There's got to be hundreds of artifacts in this place, stacked in a shelf after shelf worth of heavy crates. They feel like they go on forever. Sorting through them could take days if I actually look through them thoroughly. I force myself to calm down. I don't have to look through every box or inspect every item. I just have to check them as I go for anything the right size or shape of the lamp. As soon as I find it, I'm done. And the sooner I start, the sooner I finish, and the more likely I am to survive. With that in mind, I start looking. I spend ages digging through crate after crate of old crap of my family's collected over the years. Even without taking the time to stop over the stuff that doesn't look right, the task drags on. And man, are there a lot of things to look at. I never really understood if this was stuff the yakuza side of my family stole, or if my dad and granddad were some kind of collectors. Considering my uncle owns the building now, I'm guessing it's the former. The initial determination starts to fade quickly. There are so many boxes with so many items, and it occurs to me when I'm a few boxes in that I've never actually seen the lamp for myself. For all I know, I could be looking for the entirely wrong thing. I'm just about ready to give up, feeling like I've barely scratched the surface of the sheer volume of items stored in this warehouse, when I stumble across the right shape of package for what I was picturing. Aha! I found it. This must be it. It's exactly as it was described in the stories, after all. I can't tell if the engravings on the side are a language I don't know or just decorative, but it definitely looks like an interesting artifact, even if I hadn't been told it contained a demon. But how do I use it again? I try to remember the stories. If I'm remembering right, I should just call out the demon by name. Ambrosilas, Uncle said. Hopefully I could pronounce it correctly. Ambrosilas, I summon you. Come forth and serve me. Is that the right call? I don't actually know. Does it matter? Just in case, I try again. Ambrosilas, I need you to kill someone. I feel kind of silly standing there holding up a lamp and ordering it to work. I could have the wrong item after all, or I could be screwing up the instructions. I really have no reference other than my uncle's words and the family's old stories. It's not that I think my uncle was wrong when he said it would work, but am I doing this right? It's close enough. The first time was better. Oh, Jesus. The demon is terrifying. He towers over me. His skin is deep and purple, and he has multiple sets of deep black eyes that all look at me with mild contempt, if I'm reading it right. It worked. If you didn't think it would, why would you bother to try it? I knew you existed. My uncle told me so, and I trusted that. I didn't think I was doing it right. But I guess since it did work, I can give you orders now. I'm Pajama Ken. I'm your master now. I guess, so I need you to help me kill someone. Do you know how the contract you've entered even works? Yeah, someone wrongs me and I summon you, and you kill them, right? Wrong. Oh? But that's what Uncle said. Maybe it's more complicated than that. Remind me. You have summoned the dark demon of vengeance. I bestow justice to the world for my great goddess Zohui. Zohui? I've never heard of her. Yet you've heard of the demons in her service. I used to hear a lot of stories about the artifacts in the warehouse. That's all. I knew one of them held a demon. I just sort of assumed you'd be an Oni or something. Hardly. I am no beast of mindless slaughter. I am a demon sworn to kill the unrighteous. Under contract to you, I will kill who you command, should they be worthy of death. If I am not provided a worthy target, I will take your life instead. My life? But aren't you under my control? The look Ambrosilas gives me is pure disgust. I guess control wasn't really the best word to use, especially as he seems to view me as something like a particularly loud and annoying bug. Most certainly not. You can issue orders to me, of course, and to a certain degree, I will be required to follow them. But to truly control me would take far more power than a human like you possibly possesses. The highest authority over me is my goddess, and she demands the blood of the unrighteous. If you cannot give me a target who deserves death, or if you give me one she deems innocent, you will make me take your life instead. Well, I don't think we need to worry about that. The person I wanted you to kill stole money from me, so he's definitely guilty. Committing a crime does not necessarily make you worthy of death, human. Human laws are decided by other humans and are incredibly arbitrary. They do not necessarily factor into overall righteousness. What? So what does? How do I know if they're worthy of death or whatever? What's considered bad enough to deserve to be killed? Or whatever. I find your attitude toward the death of others distasteful. Do you believe that checking a specific box should be enough to justify taking a life? You do not feel any hesitation at ordering the death of someone who's guilty, ordering the death of someone whose guilt you aren't even certain of? I'm not good with words, okay? But if this guy doesn't die, I will. So was the case even before? That was the case even before I summoned you. I would have done anything otherwise. This target has made a threat to your life. Well, no, he didn't, but the money he stole didn't belong to me. It belonged to my boss. If I don't get that money back, he'll kill me for losing it. Are you speaking metaphorically? I'm not. I am a member of the yakuza. Yes, that would explain the tattoos. That is interesting, though. You are also a criminal, and yet you claim someone guilty of a crime should automatically deserve death. That's ironic. That's not what I meant. And besides, most of the stuff I do isn't even for me. I'm being asked to do it by other people. Is that meant to make it better? He's totally judging me. I can't take the time to feel bad about it, not if my life is on the line on both fronts. I either have to convince him to help me, or it's just a race to see who can kill me first. Well, if you know enough about the organization to recognize the tattoos, you should know how much trouble I'd be in for not doing what I'm asked. And the one time I did do something for myself, I screwed it up, which is why I need your help. If I don't make up for losing this money, I'm a dead man. Killing you outright seems extreme. I take it this was quite a lot of money you squandered. Around 2 million yen. Why on earth were you giving someone you did not know 2 million yen? It's not my fault. Takeda was tricked too. He was the one who told me this guy was the owner. Someone else told you to do this job. Then why are you being punished for it? If it was done on orders. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, he was told to do this and he was given good recommendation on this other person. So it's, yes, he probably should have like done some fact checking, but it's really the other person's issue as well. They pushed this. Well, Takeda said we get in trouble if it seemed like I stole his client, so I couldn't tell anyone I'd taken it over. All four of Ambrosilas' eyes narrow. Even the eyes of the snakes that make up his hair seem to squint at me. I roll back what I said in my head, looking for anything he might be taking an issue with. Is it just how bad I am at verifying the client? You were set up. Yup. What? No, I wasn't. Takeda offered me the job because he was getting moved up and he wouldn't have time for it. He said the guy had paid him back before too, so he wouldn't have known he would skip out this time. And you can be certain he actually paid it back. How much? Why would someone pay a loan and then immediately borrow money again? When he says it like that, I feel like an idiot because it really does sound stupid. But all those things have to be an explanation. They just have to. I don't know, but I'm sure there was a reason. Maybe Kato had to meet a deadline on the first loan, but still needed more money. Or more likely, your associate tricked you into lending his man money that Kato owed to him. Takeda made good on his loan by having you destroy your life by granting Kato another one. Oh my gosh. You're a fool. Oh, excuse me, wrong voice. You're a fool and you were tricked. And now you want me to kill a man you don't even know so that you could continue your life of crime without consequences. You will have to pick very carefully to select a target more worthy of death than you. I never thought of it like that. It's really hard to keep arguing. Ambrosilas clearly can't stand me. And when he spells it out, I can't think of any way to defend myself. Because really, he's got to be right about this. I trusted Takeda like a fool, and I'm left scrambling to fix it as fast and easily as possible. I don't even know what to say. I've screwed it up again. If I can't figure this out, I'm dead either way. It's a shame, really. You're rather pretty. Pretty? I wasn't expecting that. Everything he said up to now has been peppered with insults, and now he thinks I'm pretty? Yes, pretty. I'd like to have you if you weren't so insufferable. Killing you will be a waste. A small hope stirs in me. A waste? Does he not want to kill me after all? Maybe he really will help me. Unfortunately for us both, I can't stand your kind. The hope dies instantly. My kind? Yes, your kind. Petty criminals who do not think twice about other people. You see the fault in others' actions but take no accountability for your own, and are willing to end a life to prevent facing the consequences of your own foolishness. I should not even wait for you to pick a target. There is no point. I could simply kill you now, and my goddess would take no issue. I'm certain of this. But didn't you say killing me would be a waste? Two things can be true at once. You could be pretty enough that I would like to explore you a bit more, and enough of a degenerate that you will simply have to die. It's really not fair that he's threatening me, but I'm still really intrigued. It's kind of hard to focus on the danger when I'm so curious what he means by that. Explore me? Explore how? I do have the option to keep a human if I choose. You make a good bed warmer to have around, perhaps. A what? I can't help eyeing Ambrosilas. Taking his full appearance, past the intimidation factor, he's huge and ripped, and even the snakes he has for hair are interesting, and his nipples are pierced. He's totally hot, now that I really look at him. Not him getting all zesty for the demon. He like, damn, okay, wait, hold up. Now I'm looking at this demon. He kind of cute. So when you say keep, do you mean like a pet or a partner? Because like I would have you live in my lamp and fuck you at least once a day. Oh, excuse me. Like I would have you live in my lamp and fuck you at least once a day. A truly embarrassing squeak escapes out of me that I desperately hope Ambrosilas does not call me on. Luckily, he seems to be more unimpressed by the amount of questions I'm asking. Now, are you going to continue to insist on asking inane questions, or would you prefer to focus on convincing me not to end your life? I shake off the thought and get back on track. He's right. I have no time for this. News of the deal could reach the boss at any second. No, never mind. You're right. I like the idea, I think. But I really need to get this figured out, or I'm going to be dead before anything can happen either way. Then answer me this. How does someone so easily distracted end up as a career criminal? From what I've seen, I'd be concerned you get yourself killed crossing the street, let alone working for a notorious criminal organization. Well, he's not wrong, even if that is an incredibly mean way to phrase it. Still, it's at least not an outright threat. Maybe we're making a little progress. You're right, I shouldn't really be here. I wasn't supposed to be, but, well, it's a long story. The longer you take to explain, the longer you have until I have to decide if I should kill you. Right, good point. But where to start? I doubt he wants all the details. I decide to just start with the basics. I wasn't born into the yakuza, but I think my dad might have been. No one ever really explained it to me, but my dad and uncle didn't talk much, and my uncle has always been in the organization. I had sort of a falling out with my dad a few years ago. He was getting fed up with how poorly I'd done in school and how I could never hold down a job for more than a few weeks. I didn't know what to do, so I called my uncle. I begged him for help, so he got me a low-ranking position with the organization and told me to keep my head down as much as I could. And that didn't work out. And that didn't work out, I assume. It didn't. I kept screwing up jobs. Even when I was supposed to stand there and look intimidating, I'd break things by mistake, make situations worse, talk when I wasn't supposed to. I was worried people were getting sick of me. Nobody really seemed to like when I was around, and I didn't exactly have any friends. But then Takeda invited me to dinner. I was so worried it was going to be to threaten me, but instead he offered me a job. He said it would be impossible to screw this up. I just had to give a guy money and then come back later and save him and have him pay me back. If he didn't, I could take over his bar. He even promised he'd loaned the guy money before, and he was good for it. But as you know, the guy wasn't actually a bar owner, and he bailed. And when I called Takeda after, he just told me it was my problem now and hung up on me. Now you're saying he was scamming me to give the guy a loan so he could pay his debt to Takeda. Of course he did. I'm certain he was setting you up. If you took his word that it would be an easy, perfect deal and none of the details turned out to be right, then either he was an idiot or he took advantage of you. You're probably right. I don't know. I don't want to think that someone actually hated me that much. I was hoping he was just a nice guy. Ambrosilas looks me over appraisingly, searching for something. I squirm in place and hope it's nothing bad. But whatever it is, it seems he finds it as he sighs before he speaks again. I've changed my mind. He has? To what? Will he kill me after all? Would he help me? You don't seem like a bad person. I don't? No, you don't. However, you're possibly the most naive grown adult I've ever met. Well, that's... Actually, I can't even defend myself. Everything I said was making that point for him. I guess that's true. Insulting comments aside, it doesn't matter if I got myself into this or if someone set me up. Either way, all the trouble I'm in is my own fault. Knowing how I got in the hole doesn't fix it. I just need to find my way back out. I just don't know what to do now. Perhaps I could assist you. The crushed hope from before returns with a vengeance. You'd help me? Thank you. Not for free, mind you. Oh, well, what do you want? Money? Do demons even use money? Come to think of it, where would I even get the money? Switching debt from one person to another? Who would be worse, the yakuza or a demon? I have little use for your human money. I have a more practical exchange in mind. If I assist you with your research and picking a target, you will compensate for my wasted time physically. Physically? My mind goes to incredibly filthy places all at once. Some of it must show on my face because Ambrosilas clarifies almost immediately. Sexually, if that was not clear. Sexually? So I was on the right track with that. The idea stirs in my head. The idea stirs heat in my gut, and I'm seriously considering agreeing. Easy enough, right? But I'm immediately torn. On one hand, it's pretty much selling myself, but that's less important to me than the fact that this guy is totally down to kill me a few minutes ago, and probably still would if I made the wrong choice. On the other hand, he's pretty hot, so it wouldn't exactly be a hard thing to do. I was already thinking about it, just without the whole exchanging it for my life bit. So all in all, not much of a loss, surely. You seem undecided. Yeah, it's just a lot. An hour ago, I thought I was gonna die, and then I thought I was saved, and then I thought you were gonna kill me yourself instead, and now I'm being hit on. It's just kind of overwhelming, you know? Ambrosilas looks me up and down. I wonder if he's searching for... It feels like he's sizing me up. Hopefully he doesn't decide it's not worth it and rescind the offer. Before I can get too nervous, he speaks again. Very well. You've had a chaotic day. Sleep on my offer then. I'll return in the morning for your answer. Wait, what? You're leaving? I was disappointed, which catches me off guard. And then when I think about it a little harder, it's terrifying because it means I'm here alone. Here, alone in a warehouse, with absolutely no way of knowing if someone is going to try and kill me tonight or tomorrow? Yes, I need to report to my goddess, and you should consider your options. However, before I leave, perhaps you should sample what I offer. The terror of being alone gives me a warm sense of anticipation. Sample? Come here. Oh my, he put that demon tongue all down his throat. Look at this snake go. This is some freaky stuff. He draws me in quickly to his chest and swoops down into a frankly vicious kiss. His mouth is an odd shape with his large teeth and freakishly long tongue. There's even a brush against my cheeks that I think might be a nuzzle from one of the snakes in his hair. It should be off-putting, but it isn't. It's actually really nice. I find myself melting, getting into it. He's so huge too. He just surrounds me. and I'm held so firm against his chest. It's secure and warm, and most importantly, it's hot as hell. There's a faint sense of loss that he draws back, and I guess that's obvious to him because he looks smug as he smiles at me. Excellent. I'll see you in the morning. Oh, and do not leave this building. Barricade the door if you need to. It wouldn't do for anyone to find you before we've even stuck our deal properly. He's gone before I can protest, vanishing into thin air without a trace. And now I'm alone in a warehouse full of weird artifacts. After a long, chaotic day, I'm stuck here until he gets back. The anxiety from before comes creeping back, but if Ambrosilas was saying to stay here, maybe he was implying that it should be safe in the building for the night. Left alone with my thoughts, there's not much to do but figure out where to sleep. I find something heavy to shove in front of the door, as Ambrosilas suggested, and put one of the sheets that are covering an artifact box down to use as a blanket. That settled, I make myself a spot in a clear corner and settle down. I'm confronted with the option ahead of me. On one hand, I think I'm fine with sex with Ambrosilas. Sure, he's a literal demon, but he's hot and he seems to have a moral compass. There's also that bit he mentioned about being able to keep a person. It's possible that if he liked me, he'd even keep me around. Having a huge hot demon boyfriend sounds pretty cool. It did sound a little bit like he was treating me as a potential pet for a second, but that kind of got turned around when he included stuff about daily sex and bed warming. All that made it seem more like he wanted essentially a kinky house husband, lamp husband, whichever. There's something a little depressing about it being transactional instead of for fun, but that's not to say I wouldn't enjoy it anyway. And if that kiss told me anything, it's that I will enjoy it. However, what happens if I make the deal and Kato is really not worthy of death? What happens then? He said something about picking targets. Does he have other people in mind? If I made the deal and Kato is innocent, would he just pick someone else? How does it work? And there's what he said about Takeda setting me up. Is that true? Should I consider turning this around on him instead, if it is? And what about after? If we do manage to resolve this, will things get better? Or will I just be biding my time until I screw up again? I stew on the options and my own anxiety and fall into a restless sleep. What an interesting young man. I never would have anticipated that when I first saw him. Initially, when he summoned me, all I saw were the signs of a delinquent: tattoos, bright dyed hair, that obnoxious outfit. But then, am I doing this right? If this is someone summoning me by mistake or as a dare, they are going to regret it. It's close enough. The first time was better. Okay, so we're getting like what was going on through it in his head. Ooh, interesting. Weak, but cute. If I can bring myself to ignore the clear signs of degeneracy, I might actually enjoy this one. He's quite attractive under all the absurd hair dye and that oversized tattoo. It worked. If you didn't think it would, why would you bother to try it? Honestly, what an idiot. Do all humans go around randomly touching artifacts and calling out the names of demons? In my day, we had a healthy dose of fear of the unknown. You would never say the name of a demon out loud if you could help it, let alone go calling out to one and asking to come out and play. I knew you existed. My uncle told me so, and I trusted that. I didn't think I was doing it right. But I guess since it did work, I can give you orders now. I'm Pajamakin. I'm your master now. I guess, so I need you to help me kill someone. Does he think I'm sort of a dog, playing fetch as he asks? If either of us ends up as a pet, it will be him. Do you know how the contract you've entered even works? Yeah, someone wrongs me and I summon you and then you kill them, right? What a vast oversimplification. I don't even bother to explain that he's partially right. Because it's such a slight technicality, it's not worth it. In all ways that matter, he is mistaken. Wrong. Oh, remind me. I run him through the explanation of the contract, watching the trepidation in his face grow. It's clear he knows next to nothing about me. Between his lack of recognition for my goddess, the audacity to say he believed I'd be an Oni. I cannot fathom how this child came to be in possession of my lamp, or why he would ever choose to use it, unless he was simply an arrogant fool. And then I finally get to the core clause of the contract, and another issue arises. If I am not provided a worthy target, I will take your life instead. My life? But aren't you under my control? Control? Under the control of some simple-minded mortal? I can feel my patience thinning. Most certainly not. You can issue orders to me, of course, and to a certain degree, I will be required to follow them. But to truly control me will take far more power than a human like you could possibly possess. The highest authority over me is my goddess, and she demands the blood of the unrighteous. If you cannot give me the target worth killing, or give me what she deems, or give me one she deems innocent, she will direct me to take your life instead. Not that she would have to. I'm half tempted to do it myself. The man who summoned me is cute, and there's something funny about the way he flounders to find something to say. But I will not be at the beck and call of someone who does not take me or my work seriously. Well, I don't think we need to worry about that. The person I wanted you to kill stole money from me, so he's definitely guilty. Theft? Petty theft? I'm being summoned now, the demon of righteous slaughter, Ambrosilas, for petty theft? Committing a crime does not necessarily make you worthy of death. Human laws are decided by other humans and are incredibly arbitrary. They do not necessarily factor into righteousness. So, how do I know if they're worthy of death or whatever? What's considered bad enough to deserve to be killed? What does he expect? That if I give him a specific list of criteria, he can find someone who matches them and sick me on them like a dog? This man does not even have an ounce of respect for human life, nor my own integrity as a demon. Pretty boy or not, I want to kill him. What a waste of my time. Or whatever, I find your attitude toward the death of others distasteful. Do you believe that checking a specific box should be enough to justify taking a life? You do not feel any hesitation at ordering the death of someone whose guilt you aren't even certain of? I'm not good with words, okay? But if this guy doesn't die, I will. That was the case even before I summoned you. I wouldn't have done anything otherwise. Oh, interesting. Now we're finally getting somewhere. Self-defense is, in fact, a valid choice and would explain some of his desperate fumbling. This target has made a threat to your life. Well, no, he didn't. But the money he stole didn't belong to me. It belonged to my boss. If I don't get the money back, he'll kill me for losing it. This human speaks in circles. He exhausts me. Every moment that passes, I'm tempted to simply kill him, or to steal him away and discipline him for the audacity he shows towards me. I'm sure that would be much more enjoyable than whatever this excuse in futility is. Oh, whatever this exercise in futility is. Are you speaking metaphorically? I'm not. I'm a member of the yakuza. Of course he is. Good to have it confirmed, I suppose, but still. Yes, that would explain the tattoos. That is interesting, though. You are a criminal, and yet you claim someone guilty of a crime should automatically deserve death. Ironic. That's not what I meant. And besides, most of the stuff I do isn't for me. I'm being asked to do it by other people. Disgusting. If there's one thing worse than being summoned by a degenerate, it's being summoned by one who does not even have the spine to make his own choices. Is that meant to make it better? I can see the man struggling to find a justification for why he's not the one responsible for whatever crimes he's committed. It's almost enough to make me lose interest. Except there's a hint of guilt there too. He also feels bad about his attitude, it seems. Maybe he's not completely hopeless. Well, if you know enough about the organization to recognize the tattoos, you should know how much trouble I'd be in for not doing what I'm asked. And the one time I did do something for myself, I screwed it up, which is why I need your help. If I don't make up for losing this money, I'm a dead man. Killing you outright seems extreme. I take it this was quite a lot of money you squandered. Around 2 million yen. I was last summoned 10 years ago, surely not long enough for 2 million yen to be anything less than an absurd amount of money. Why on earth were you giving someone you did not know 2 million yen? It's not my fault. Takeda was tricked too. He was the one who told me this guy was the owner. And now the plot thickens. I'm getting a bad feeling about this. Someone else told you to do this job, then why were you being punished for it if it was done on orders? Well, Takeda said we get in trouble if it seemed like I stole his client, so I couldn't tell anyone I'd taken it over. He's an idiot. There's simply no better explanation. No human being on earth could be this fundamentally clueless. Was I ever this naive? I don't think I was. Perhaps not even as a child. You were set up. What? No, I wasn't. Takeda offered me this job because he was getting moved up, and he wouldn't have time for it. He said the guy he had paid him back before too, so he wouldn't have known he would skip out this time. I have absolutely no idea how this man is still alive to summon me. Are criminals these days all this weak? If not as weak as this man, as weak as those who do not have the good sense to get rid of him? And you can be certain he actually paid it back. How much? Why would someone pay a loan and then immediately borrow money again? I don't know, but I'm sure there was a reason. Maybe Kajo had to meet a deadline on the first loan, but still needed more money. An idiot, a moron. I am at the whims of a criminal with fewer brain cells than a parrot. I thought parrots were actually pretty smart. Anyway, I tell him about as much too. It's a shame, really. You're rather pretty. Pretty? Don't tell me that's news to him. Yes, pretty. I'd like to have you if you weren't so insufferable. Killing you would be a waste. Unfortunately for us both, I can't stand your kind. My kind? Yes, your kind. Petty criminals who do not think twice about other people. You see the fault in others' actions but take no accountability for your own, and are willing to end a life to prevent facing the consequences of your own foolishness. I should not even wait for you to pick a target. There's no point. I could simply kill you now, and my goddess would take no issue, I'm certain. He's offended. I can read it on his face, clear as day. It's a fascinating change. He's been morose and passive this whole time, but it seems he has some fighting spirit after all. Curiously, the anger dissipates. In favor of a more coquettish expression, my interest peaks. Is he going to make an offer? I didn't anticipate that. But didn't you say killing me would be a waste? Never mind. He simply thinks he's negotiating. Two things can be true at once. You can be pretty enough that I would like to explore you a bit more, and enough of a degenerate that you will simply have to die. Adorably, he seems immediately off balance, face flushed and eyes averted. Explore me? Explore how? Oh, carnally, I could get graphic. But this one is so incredibly delicate in demeanor that I feel that would run him off. I suppose I have to baby step him into it. I do have the option to keep a human if I choose. You make a good bed warmer to have around, I believe. A what? Extreme baby steps, then. I'm starting to worry this man has never even had sex. But before I can elaborate, he seems to catch up to himself. and his eyes trail over me in a way that makes me convinced he does, in fact, know what we're talking about. He's just a little slow in the uptake. So, when you say keep, do you mean like a pet or like a partner? Because, so that was the hang up, the language I was using. A smirk pulls at my face as I clarify. Like I would have you in my lamp and fuck you at least once a day. He lets out an incredibly adorable little squeak, and I'm reconsidering the virgin theory. I'll have to check. Which means that until I do, I should rein this conversation in, lest I be spelling out everything I want to do to Pajamakin, oh my, for the next hour of my life, and get absolutely nowhere on the contract. Now, are we going to continue to insist on asking inane questions, or would you prefer to focus on convincing me to not end your life? Pajamakin deflates immediately, so immediately that I honestly feel regretful, but I had to steer that conversation to less risky territory quickly. No, never mind, you're right. I like the idea, I think, but I really need to get this figured out, or I'm going to be dead before anything can happen either way. He's scatterbrained and cannot take being spoken to with any hint of reprimand without shutting down. Let me read that again. He's scatterbrained and cannot take being spoken to with any hint of reprimand without being shut down, or without shutting down. How on earth does a person like that survive a life of crime? So yeah, he's very much our main character. He's one of those people that when you start to fuss at him or basically tell him, hey, you're fucking up, he shuts down. He's just like, I know a lot of people like that. Then answer me this. How does someone so easily distracted end up as a career criminal? From what I've seen, I'd be concerned you get yourself killed crossing the street, let alone working for a notorious criminal organization. Pajamakin seems to consider that and shifts in place. You're right. I shouldn't be here. I really shouldn't be here. I wasn't supposed to be, but, well, it's a long story. That's usually a human's way of saying they don't want to talk about it. Unfortunately for Pajamakin, he has an undisputed monopoly on my time until the contract is fulfilled. The longer you take to explain, the longer you have until I have decided if I should kill you. Right, good point. It takes him a moment to start, and when he does, it comes out in a rush. I wasn't born into the yakuza, but I think my dad might have been. No one ever really explained it to me, but my dad and uncle didn't talk much, and my uncle has always been in the organization. I had sort of a falling out with my dad a few years ago. He was getting fed up with how poorly I'd done in school and how I could never hold down a job for more than a few weeks. I didn't know what to do, so I called my uncle. I begged him for help, so he got me a low-ranking position with the organization and told me to keep my head down as much as I could. Lending out 2 million yen does not seem like keeping his head down, so I assumed that failed. And that didn't work out, I assume. It didn't. I kept screwing up jobs. Even when I was supposed to stand there and look intimidating, I'd break things by mistake, make situations work, talk when I wasn't supposed to. I was worried people were really getting sick of me. Nobody really seemed like it. Nobody really seemed to like it when I was around, and I didn't exactly have any friends. Friends? Perhaps he's a more innocent soul than I thought, if he is worried about his lack of connections. I would expect him to be looking for material gain, not friends. But if he was rejected by his family, it would make sense that he would cling to his one remaining connection through his uncle. But then Takeda invited me to dinner. I was so worried it was going to threaten me, but instead he offered me a job. He said it would be impossible to screw up. I just had to give a guy money and then come back later and have him pay me back. If he didn't, I could take over his bar. He even promised he'd loaned the guy money before, and he was good for it. An ominous premonition stirs in me. Did he pay that money back, or was Pajamakin the man's fall guy? But the guy wasn't actually the bar owner, and he bailed. And when I called Takeda after, he just told me it was my problem now and hung up on me. I'm surprised to feel anger, not at my master, but on his behalf. He was eager to please and naive when it came to the work of a criminal, and someone saw that as an opportunity. Now you're saying he was scamming me to give the guy a loan so he could pay his debt to Takeda? Of course he did. I'm certain he was setting you up. If you took his word that it would be an easy, perfect deal, and now the details turned out to be right, then either he is an idiot or he took advantage of you. Pajamakin shrinks in on himself, clearly distressed by the idea. Maybe, I don't know, I've changed my mind. The confession is hard, but I can't argue with the information I've observed just in this conversation. My master absolutely lacks malice. He's callous toward the life or death of others, certainly, but is due to a tunnel vision on the problems that he does care about, namely his own family, and his earth-shatteringly low self-esteem. But all in all, you don't seem like a bad person. He seems surprised that I've come to that conclusion. Interesting, it seems, even as he was trying to convince me that it was the case, that even he did not believe his own innocence. I don't? No, you don't. However, you are possibly the most naive grown adult I've ever met. Well, that's... He takes a moment and I wait, watching as he wrestles with himself. This man does not appear to have the best self-esteem. Interesting. I guess that's true. I just don't know what to do now. He's clearly distressed, and while he did get himself into this mess one way or another, my assessment is one I'm confident in. He's not necessarily a bad person, he's just simply a follower, one who does as they're told. If he has someone competent giving him instructions, he might actually be worth keeping around. And I see no reason not to volunteer. If you still wanted assistance, you'd help me? Thank you. He takes me at my word before I even give him the terms of agreement. I see how he got himself into this trouble in the first place. Not for free, mind you. Oh, well, what do you want? Money? Do demons even use money? I have to stop myself from asking him what money he thinks I would even pay. He would even pay me with. Given his debt is the problem we are attempting to solve, perhaps his foolishness is contagious. I don't even use human money anymore. No, I have no use for your human money. I had a more practical exchange in mind. If I assist you with your research and picking a target, you will compensate for my wasted time, physically. Physically? It was not a subtle request, but I elaborate anyway. Sexually, if that was not clear. Sexually? But he seems conflicted at once. I try not to feel disappointed. He was very clearly attracted to me, given how his eyes lingered, and I would enjoy seducing him, but I will hardly force it if he chooses not to pursue it. That said, I'm not going to waste my time reforming a criminal and get nothing out of it at all. That pretty face is wasted on whatever nonsense he's gotten mixed up in. You seem undecided. Yeah, it's just a lot. An hour ago, I thought I was gonna die, and then I thought I was saved, and then I thought you were gonna kill me yourself instead, and now I'm being hit on, and it's just kind of overwhelming, you know? When he puts it that way, I truly have been neglectful. The choices in my life are often straightforward. I forget the need for time to process. Understandable. You've had a chaotic day. Sleep on my offer then. I'll return in the morning for your answer. Wait, you're leaving? There is something incredibly satisfying about the fact that this seems to bother him. Perhaps it's simply self-preservation, knowing he is safer with me than without, but it still ignites a possessive joy in me. There is something incredibly satisfying about the fact that this seems to bother him. Perhaps it's simply self-preservation, knowing he is safer with me than without, but it still ignites a possessive joy in me. I ignore it for the moment though. As much as I would love to foster that connection, I genuinely do need to leave. Yes, I need to report to my goddess, and you should consider your options. Even as I say it though, I find I do not want to leave him straight away. I very much want to touch him at least a little first. However, before I leave, perhaps you should sample what I have to offer. Sample, come here. I draw him into a kiss. At first, he is tense, and I worry it may be too much for him. I do my best to start the kissing soft and build it in intensely as I go, giving him time to warm up to my features. It pays off. Only a few brief moments later, he is melting into my arms and into the kiss. I can see myself pushing it further, truly showing him the extent of the pleasure I could bring him. But for now, I must restrain myself. My goddess would not be pleased if I made such a rash move, and I have already promised him time to consider. Besides, if he wants more, that only makes him more likely to agree to the terms. I bid him a quick goodnight with instructions not to leave the warehouse again. I do not trust him not to stumble into even worse troubles in the short span of time it takes me to return. He seems off balance as I leave, and I have a feeling he will accept the agreement. Good. I will enjoy him, as ridiculous as he is. Seriously, a man who agrees to join a criminal organization but has no stomach for violent crime, no mind for strategy, and no spine to make his own decisions. He is simply an idiot. It's a harsh assessment for certain, but it's not inaccurate. He's native to a fault and desperate to prove himself useful. The combination will be interesting. If he agrees to the terms I offered, I could gently steer him back into the path of decency. And with this general attitude of malleability, he should be beautifully submissive. In more ways than one even, I find myself hoping he agrees to the terms so much that the prospect of doing legwork for the man isn't even daunting. This will be enjoyable. Ambrosilas! I don't know how she's supposed to sound. Ambrosilas! I've been caught. Yes, my goddess. Explain to me why you stand here mooning about a confirmed criminal who contracted you. He speaks callously of others' lives. He disrespects my authority and your own power. He proposes treating you like an errand boy, and all to please someone other than himself. He is spineless, wicked creature, and should not be entertained for another moment. You should have already taken his life. My goddess, you must understand. Oh, he looks so sad. He's not simply a criminal. I believe there's more to him than that. He's naive. He seems to just go along with things as he's instructed. I'm certain he's being set up for the situation he's in now, and I would like to bring the person behind it to justice. If I can make him realize he's being used as a tool by the organization that houses him, he may change his ways. He could reform himself into a truly good person, and in doing so, we'd have restored a human's innocence. Is that not in line with your principles, my goddess? Do you think I'm a fool, Ambrosilas? You do not care about his innocence. You want him as a conquest. She's not completely wrong. While I do want to kill the people manipulating Pajamakin, I do very much also want to take him to bed. I simply don't see why I can't have both. Insolent! I can hear that, you brat. Did you forget I can hear your thoughts in my domain? Apologies, my goddess. But I will remind you who I was before I came into your service. I have the malice in my heart that my master lacks. I know what to do. I know what to look for in a true criminal, and I'm telling you, he does not have it. I've met men like him. I knew them in droves when I was alive. Men who follow directions without thinking of the consequences of their actions. Men who fumble through life and expect those around them to have figured it out. To have figured out so they do not have to. I guess to have it figured out is what I say. He's a fool, my goddess, but not a malicious one. I believe I can guide him. You are tempting fate, Ambrosilas, and much more dangerously, you're attempting my own patience. Be cautious with this contract. If he leads you astray from your sworn path, do not expect lenience. Of course, my goddess. Though, one more question if I may. Very well, ask. About his innocence. Is he innocent? Or may I You, are you asking me if you have permission to defile your new master? Shameless, out of my temple. Nasty. That is a no. Out! Well, human, have you considered your options? I don't have any options. 2 million yen is too much money, and I don't make that much. Please, there's got to be some way you can help. Please, I'll do anything. Come here. Then it's decided. You will pay me with your body. Okay, if you can help me. I lean in to kiss as he pulls me in, pressed against his chest. Okay, I'm pajamaking. Feeling his cold, solid chest. Cold. No, he should be warm. I open my eyes and wake up on the warehouse floor. Oh, that's embarrassing. Guess that answers how I feel about the deal. Though a cheesy porno-style wet dream with a demon is probably a good sign, I really do want to sleep with him. I'm just glad I woke up before it got too steamy. That small pallet I made with the sheet from the crate is not nearly comfortable enough to be luxuriating in wet dreams. I give a small stretch and my whole body protests. Ugh, sleeping on the floor was not a good idea. Oh. Ow, did you hurt yourself? You scared the crap out of me, jeez. Wait, how long have you been standing there? I just arrived. Why? Oh, good. That means I don't have to worry about him knowing about that dream. But wait, did he just pop into the room out of nowhere? How'd you even get in here? I checked the door, but it's still firmly barricaded. Do you really think something as simple as a blocked door can stop me? I guess not. Ambrosilas gestures to the lamp, sitting on top of one of the crates still. I was within my lamp overnight. I could travel to the realm of my goddess and back from within it. I left the same way, did you? You did not notice? I did, but I forgot. I was too distracted by all the other things to think about. The deal, my crush on the demon, my impending doom, demonic teleportation slipped my mind pretty fast. You did not answer my question, by the way. Huh? You expressed you were in pain. Why? Did you injure yourself? Oh, no, I didn't hit myself or anything. Don't worry. It's just not really comfortable sleeping on concrete. Oh, right. I forgot to account for that. Is he blushing? That's so cute. Maybe he isn't as scary as he seemed yesterday, after all. That bodes well for me, I guess. Just as quickly as I notice that the expression is gone and is back to complete control, and a disinterested shrug from Ambrosilas. No matter, I will find a solution before I leave again, if we are to continue to work together. Which is to ask, are we going to work together? Have you considered my deal? Yes, I did. It was a lot to think about, but I thought about it a lot before I went to bed, and again this morning. I think I would like to try it. It's not like I have much to lose, and you are, yes? What about me? You're just really hot. Well, maybe this might be worth doing after all. Hopefully, I really don't want to die. Indeed, let's endeavor to keep you alive as long as possible, starting with solving the problem of your comfort. I can bring you into the lamp with me if you promise to behave. You may relax within it while I begin investigating. I can go in there? It's sort of hard to read Ambrosilas' expression, but he seems amused by how excited I get about that. Yes, you can go into the lamp, but only if I bring you in and out. It's not something you have any control over. This means I can ensure you stay put as well, and that no one can find you. I trust that if I do this, you will behave yourself, that you ensure you do not dig through my things or break anything. I won't touch anything. I'll stay put, I swear. Just please don't make me have to sleep on the concrete again. Very well, come here. Here we go. I take a look around. This place is much bigger than I imagined it could be. However, it doesn't look particularly comfortable. The cold, stone-like interior looks honestly just as uncomfortable as the concrete in the warehouse. Still, Ambrosilas brought me to his home, so I don't want to seem ungrateful. At the very least, I'll be safer in here than out there. Where should I stay? Through here. Ooh, this is nice. I feel silly now for thinking it would be all like the entrance. I guess I wasn't sure whether Ambrosilas would have a need for furniture. Does he even sleep? Do demons relax? What does he do when he's not being summoned to kill people? Do you sleep here? If I would like to. It's not necessary, but I can go years between summons. Sleeping is a way to pass time. Oh, that makes sense. What else do you do? Whatever I like. I can summon most things myself, or I can retrieve it when outside the lamp if it's something specific, but I'm rather numb to time passing at this point. Well, that's interesting if a little sad. I look around the room, taking in the ribbed structure of the rooms and the lamp. This one's pretty fancy. I believe it's a regular sitting room in a house. If it weren't for the weird stone room outside the door and the very large Gorgon-esque demon looming beside me. Don't just stand around. Come here. Oof! A little warning next time, please. No. I don't know what to expect. Really, Ambrosilas sounds altogether far too smug, though. With a huff, I adjust myself a little more comfortably in his lap. I kinda thought you'd leave right away, though honestly, I'm glad you aren't. Can I touch your face? You may. Can I pet your snakes? You may pet them if you are gentle. They're kinda cute. Thank you. I'll leave in a bit. I want to discuss the options with you first. Options? Indeed, options. First, there is the man who absconded with your money. He may have been doing it for a decent enough reason, or under someone else's orders, or he may have done it maliciously. The only way to know is to look into it. However, I believe there are two more compelling targets available. We should look into your coworker and see if he was setting you up to fail deliberately. I frown, unhappy at the idea that I could have been set up. But I really don't have enough confidence to argue that it wasn't. Ambrosilas has made nothing but good points about it so far, so it's worth checking. Then my brain catches up to what he said. Wait, two? Who's the other? Your boss. What? I shift, scrambling off Ambrosilas' lap to stand instead, staring at him in horror. You can't. We're not killing my boss. That's just asking for trouble. Trouble from whom? If the boss is dead, who was there to hold a grudge against you in the first place? I don't know. Somebody, if the head of the organization dies, the thing doesn't just collapse. Someone will take over, and then I actually don't know what would happen, but even if I got away with it, I know I wouldn't solve anything. The next in line could track me down, or if they couldn't, if Ambrosilas got me somewhere they couldn't trace, then they go for the next best target. Listen, we can't do anything like that. It might put my uncle in danger. The same uncle who brought you into a life of crime and talked you into summoning a demon that might have killed you? It's not like that. It's one thing for him to tell me that Takeda may have set me up. Takeda is just a co-worker, and I could have easily misread the situation. That's something I can believe. But I can't possibly believe that my uncle would put me in danger on purpose. He's never wanted to hurt me. There's not much point in arguing that with Ambrosilas, though. He made it clear from the beginning that he hates the yakuza, and to him, my uncle is just the guy who dragged me into that life. That being said, I won't give in. If he doesn't care about my uncle like I do, I won't let him get hurt. Even if he doesn't care about my uncle like I do. Listen, if you killed him and anyone realized I had something to do with it, both me and my uncle would get in huge trouble. But if he's dead, you could leave, caring for your family. I can understand you. I can understand, but you will not even consider seeking your own freedom? That's not even how it works. You don't just leave the yakuza. Once you're in, you're in. They don't just let you just quit and walk away. If I chose to remove you from the situation, I would like to see them stop me. And if you want to get away from them, I can ensure they never find you. Consider the possibility again, but do so with the assumption that your uncle could not be in any danger, regardless of what you chose, and that I will keep you safe when you do make a choice. Because I am more than capable of both. I can protect you, and if someone else's well-being is a caveat you insist on, I will see to it, so as long as you consider leaving that organization behind. I'm going to say, "Aw, I'm growing on you, aren't I?" Clearly, I have not distressed you that much if you're able to be coy. But you must bear in mind, I have no interest in enabling your criminal activity. If you intend to remain a yakuza pawn until you die, I will have no use for you. But I suppose you are not willing to commit to a choice right away, and there is no reason to force it. We have time. I will investigate him for the affection of you. I will investigate him for the affection you have granted so far. I will show you the truth of the man, and you can decide if you shall remain loyal to such a farce. All right, I guess that sounds good. There are no other options, especially considering that he will be an excellent sacrificial pawn. A sacrificial? What do you mean by that? I have to kill someone, Pajama-kin, and a criminal overlord will definitely be an acceptable target. If he dies, your life will be spared, even if the other two potential targets are entirely worthless to me. It's simply something to consider. That man's death could save your life in more ways than one. Keep that in mind and weigh it alongside the information I bring back with me. I believe the choice will be clear, but it is ultimately up to you to make the call. I just have to decide if I want to unleash a highly powerful murder demon on the head of the yakuza. No big deal. I'll head out now. I can't speak. I'll head out now. You remain here, preferably in this room. Don't break anything. And just like that, he's gone again. I'm starting to suspect he doesn't know how to say goodbye properly. Still, left alone, all I can think about is what he said about my boss. Sure, I know there's logic here. He's a major criminal overlord and pretty bad person besides. I'm going off rumors, but killing him will be a huge risk. Then again, Ambrosilas did have a point. A killing by the demon might not necessarily be tracked back to Uncle, especially if he was hiding inside the lamp at the time. But there was no telling how Ambrosilas will be able to hide him in the future if something happened. But do I want that? Am I okay throwing away the opportunity my uncle gave me, and quite possibly the man himself? I'm not sure. There are too many unknowns, and I've had a hectic few days. The couch is soft and plush, though, and my back still aches. I decide to put the crisis on hold for a bit and take a nap. You summoned me, my goddess? That I did. You are looking into this moral target for your master, I see. I am, yes. I felt it was necessary to ensure the targets he selects are guilty. Do not try and fool me with that nonsense, Ambrosilas. You're lusting for him. Well, he is quite unique, and I believe I can convince Pajama-kin to change his ways for the better, given the right time and motivation. For instance, I'm off to investigate his employer. I have no doubt he'll be a truly wicked person, which will make him a more than satisfactory target, wouldn't it? You have worked with me for too long to still try and smooth talk and swindle your way into getting what you want. I would never, my goddess. You're testing me, Ambrosilas, but fine, your contracts are yours to fulfill, however you see fit, but you will fulfill it. You will find a worthy target and spill their blood. and you will do it soon. Yes, my goddess, as you wish. A few hours later, Pajamakin, wake up. The couch in Ambrosilas' lamp is much more comfortable than sleeping in the warehouse, and when I stir, it's to a lot fewer body aches. I blink awake, a little groggy, but feeling more energized than I did after a night on the concrete. Huh? I see you've rested more. That's good. I did not intend to neglect your needs. I simply forget they exist at times. And speaking of needs, I got you this. He's holding a silver tray. I reach out to remove the lid, revealing an ornate breakfast spread. There's even a mug and an old school silver pot, smelling strongly of freshly brewed coffee. Wow, where'd you get this? Did you make it? That all depends on what you mean. If you mean the dishes, then no, I took them from the house I was investigating. Not him. You what? Ambrosilas, you can't. What if they notice it's missing? They won't. Your boss appears to have left town. He did? That's weird. I don't remember anyone saying anything about the boss being away. Not that they'd really tell me, I guess. The only reason I have learned about something like that was if my uncle was taken along for the trip and he warned me he'd be out of town. I don't know if I get cell service in the lamp, but I didn't get any calls while in the warehouse, so I have to assume nothing like that happened. Unless he's trying not to draw attention to me, that's also a possibility. I'll have to check in with him later, maybe when Ambrosilas leaves again. He still has to investigate Kato at least, which reminds me. If the boss wasn't even home, does that mean you weren't able to find anything? Ambrosilas sets the platter down on the table. Of course not. I found plenty just from the man's house and staff alone. I will tell you while you eat. I will not have you getting sick under my watch. You want me to eat the food that you stole from the boss of the yakuza? Would you rather starve? It's a fair point. I go to kneel before the table with a sigh. Besides, technically, I stole the tray and the pot. I made the food. You did? Of course, I'm more than capable of something this simple. And the staff were not going to set out a meal for someone who was not there. They were all busy drinking in the living room. I suppose your boss is not very well liked by his staff if they celebrate his absence that much. Well, I can see that being the case, honestly. The thing that keeps people from talking about how little they like him right now is a healthy dose of terror for the man. So you cooked this while they were distracted? Yes, I did. I considered summoning food for you instead, but I'm out of practice with that. You've not eaten since summoning me, so I decided that properly cooked food was most likely a safer bet for the time being. Thus, breakfast. I try to imagine it, Ambrosilas' massive, intimidating form standing in a rich man's kitchen making breakfast for me. It's an odd mental image. I kind of wish I'd seen it in person, but it would have absolutely gotten us caught. Still, he cooked for me. How sweet. And when he didn't even have to, just because he wanted to be good for me. It's really nice gesture I hadn't really expected from him. Well, you should have just said that then. While I'm worried that someone might notice rather nice tableware going missing, I'm not going to pass up eating a meal that Ambrosilas cooked for me. Though I'm curious about you being able to summon food. Still, a home-cooked meal is really nice. Or, well, I guess not home-cooked if you stole someone's kitchen to do it, but the sentiment's there, you know? Just eat, Pajamakin. As I start to serve myself food with only a little trepidation, Ambrosilas stands beside the table watching me eat. Very good. Enjoy your meal. I'll catch you up on the investigation as you eat. Sounds good to me. What'd you find? From what I've gathered, it just so happens that your boss is a well-known criminal and has been a prime target of your nation's law enforcement for some time. He's simply very good at picking people to bribe, threaten, or outright kill to keep his business going steady. At this moment, he is headed to another prefecture to meet with a few of his moles and their organized crime task force. The staff were gossiping about all the things he was trying to bury, which gave me a rather extensive list of crimes your boss has committed. Some he committed by ordering others to do his bidding. Some he committed with his own two hands. It hardly matters in the long run. Blood is blood. The world would be a much better place without him. I would very much like to kill him, and he would make a prime target for you to choose, whether or not you end up wanting someone else dead as well by the end of this. The question is, do you agree? I guess I'll say you're right, he needs to die. I'm glad we're on the same page. You really can do better than that organization. I'm certain of it. You think so? Don't act so surprised. Being able to be better than a career criminal is a rather low bar, to be clear. And from everything you've told me so far, you never should have been one in the first place. Hopefully getting rid of the leader of your organization will throw things into enough disarray to buy you time to find another interest that you could pursue in earnest. It will also remove the pressure of me potentially having to take your life to fulfill the contract. I will still investigate the other two just in case. I will not object to the potential to rid the world of three corrupt individuals if they are all guilty souls. But whether they die or not, I would be glad to see you rid of that stain of an organization. Yeah, I just really hope that we can figure out a way to get my uncle out of this all right too. I don't want to cause any more trouble for him. You worry quite a lot about your uncle. I find myself curious about what sort of man he is to inspire that sort of concern. Tell me about him. You want to learn about my uncle? I'm surprised he seemed pretty determined to write him off earlier, but I guess he did the same thing to me at first. Maybe he's actually warming up to me. Or maybe he just wants to know enough about my uncle to talk me out of the yakuza. Either way, if I want him to understand where I'm coming from when I say I want to do the right by my uncle, this is my chance to explain. Well, I guess the easiest place to start is the beginning. I told you before, I wasn't raised in the yakuza. My uncle was always in it, as far back as I can remember, and I knew that. I had a little contact with him, but mostly just holidays and stuff. I thought the yakuza sounded really cool, but he would always get annoyed if I said that. He insisted I follow my dad instead of him and that I go to school properly and get a real job. The problem was, I was not a great student in school. I think my dad might have paid off someone at the university I went to let me in. I really sucked at schoolwork. I kept missing assignments, failing tests, all that. Eventually, I just stopped trying. I would accept whatever invitation I was offered, went to parties, hung out with some not so great people. So it wasn't really a big surprise that I didn't get to stay long. I failed too many classes, racked up a discipline record, and they kicked me out. My dad was furious, and he cut me off on the spot. I had to scrounge and figure out something else to do. Menial jobs, minimum wage stuff. But I hated it, and I just couldn't keep up with it. So eventually, I called my uncle. I begged him to find me something to do, and he brought you into the yakuza. Not at first. He tried really hard to get me to change my mind, but I had kind of a breakdown over the phone. I told him how bad I am at everything I try to do, and how I didn't know what to do with myself. Well, he said that anything he would do to help would draw attention to me. So the safest thing he could do is find me a small gig to get into the organization and, well, you know the rest. Interesting. So it seems he only brought you into the organization to aid you at your own insistence. But surely a man who did not want you to join the organization in the first place would not hold a grudge against you for leaving it behind. That's not the part I'm worried about. Or, well, I am worried about it, but that's not the biggest concern. I don't want him to be disappointed in me for sure. I don't want him to think I couldn't cut it or that I gave up because I couldn't commit to the thing he bent over backwards to let me do. But the other reasons are way bigger than that. Ones that are much higher stakes than just me being a disappointment. If the organization suspects I had something to do with my boss's death, they might hurt my uncle. Even if they can't prove it, if they think me leaving is proof he'll leave too, if they think me leaving is proof he'll leave too, or think he has something to do with it, even if they are just mad and want to take it out on someone, they might go after him too. He was doing me a huge favor by giving me this position, and I've caused him nothing but trouble. I don't want the last thing I do in it to be getting him killed. The whole reason I summoned you in the first place was because my uncle couldn't afford to take the risk of helping me directly. He told me to summon you and ask for your help because if he tried, we would both be screwed. But he still told me how to summon you and how to fix things, and I'm not going to pay him back for that by getting him targeted anyway. I see, a complex situation as you've described. But a simple solution nonetheless. We will simply have to ensure he is safe, and then you will have no reservations, yes? You make that sound easy. It should be, taking into account the well-being of one more human shouldn't be overly difficult. I will keep it in mind going forward. I'm sure I can come up with a solution that serves all parties. You will? Yes, of course. I have two goals at this moment. The first is the obvious, to fulfill my duty to my goddess by slaying the wicked and protecting the innocent. The second is to convince you, a wayward soul, to take control of your own life and stop allowing people to lead you astray. If protecting your uncle helps me to accomplish both goals, I may as well consider it. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ambrosilas. Don't thank me too quickly. No plans have been made. But I assure you, they will be narrowed down before we kill your boss. I do not rush into anything without a plan if I can help it. Speaking of plans, though, I'm now curious. If you had not been talked into that ridiculous loan, what would your plans have been for the future? Bumbling your way through jobs until you died? Of course not. Though honestly, I didn't exactly have a plan at all. I had dreams, sure, but they were vague, and I was starting to think I'd never get to see them, especially with how terrible I am at pretty much everything I try to do. I try not to think about it too much because I've never really had a plan that actually worked out, but I was kind of hoping that maybe I'd be able to build up enough money to do something else. Still yakuza affiliated, obviously, because, well, like I said, they don't let you leave, but maybe just loosely affiliated, something where I cut them a portion of profits and we ignored each other. I like games a lot. If this loan had gone well and I was able to build up a lending business under the yakuza, I was kind of hoping I'd be able to buy up something fun like an arcade. The yakuza is more into casinos than arcades, though. Arcades don't make a whole lot of profit on their own, and casinos also come with a whole host of other opportunities for, well, other crimes. Still, games are games. Even if I had to figure out how to run something as complex as a casino or a gambling den, it would have at least be more fun than just endless, pointless grunt work. Interesting. I will keep that in mind. He will? I didn't expect him to care about the things like that, or the things I like. He might just be thinking of a way to convince me to leave the yakuza still, but regardless, it's really sweet. Have you ever expressed the idea to anyone that you'd like to open your own business if you were able to build the money for it? I don't know, maybe. I definitely never mentioned the whole thing about distancing myself from the yakuza, but I might have made some commitment offhand about wanting to own a store or something. And then you were recommended a loan with a promise you would reclaim the store if it did not pay? Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's a heck of a coincidence. I don't believe it's one at all. I'm more convinced than ever that you were set up. I really don't know about that. It just feels like a lot for someone to go out of their way to set me up like that. But the concept being hard to fathom doesn't mean it's not possible. I just don't like the idea that someone hated me that much to scheme about getting me killed, or that I was dumb enough to play right into it. There's no point in speculating blindly, I suppose. I will find out tomorrow one way or another by pursuing your coworker. Yeah, I guess. But if Takeda really didn't set me up, what then? Will you still consider him a target? I will find wherever there is to find and report all of the relevant information to you. I have my preference on who I would and would not like to kill, but I cannot override your decisions as master. Only my goddess can judge if a target is unworthy, and redirect my hand to you instead. The final say on which of these 3 dies will be yours. You could choose any of them, or all of them. I do not care. My only job is to execute the order. And of course, to investigate, so long as you keep your promise of repayment. Speaking of which, I have a question. Yeah, what is it? You aren't a virgin, are you? What? No, of course not. Oh, good. In that case. Ambrosilas abruptly sweeps me up into his arms. His eyes on me are heated, and his lips quirked up into a low smirk. The expression is nothing short of predatory. Eep! I can't help the little squeak that comes out of me, but it only makes Ambrosilas seem a little more amused. When he speaks again, it's in a low, sultry growl of a tone. I believe it's time for your first payment now. I have researched one potential victim, as well as giving you new ideas for how to proceed in the future. That deserves a very thorough repayment, I believe. I swallow, staring up into his eyes. My stomach stirs. Maybe anxiety, maybe anticipation, probably both. It's time to make good on the deal. Add Ambrosilas to your Steam wish list to catch the launch discount. Ooh. Wow. Okay. That was the demo for Monster Lover 2, story by Spicy Rez, art by Mew. I really like Mew's art and I like the story, so hats off to them. They did a really good job. I am very invested. Hi guys, thanks for making it through to the end. Be sure to like and leave a comment, and even subscribe if you aren't already. And be sure to share the video with your friends too. Until next time.